Hi, it's Ray from Proshaper in Charlton, Mass. Today I just wanted to show you this nice new Planishing hammer storage rack that we made. So I have more than one volunteer. I have another volunteer, Jim, who's 74. He comes from Connecticut, drives an hour from Connecticut to come volunteer about 3 times a week. Gets him out of the house. Always looking for more volunteers, hint hint. And I came up with the idea. I actually drew this up, and I had an idea of what I wanted. And how it came about was this metal here. I have a friend who's I call the metal scrounger. That's Mike. And Mike comes periodically to the shop, and he's got a little Toyota pickup truck, and it's loaded with all kinds of metal. And he's on his way to the scrap yard with the metal. So he says, I'll give you first dibs on it, and he gives me really good prices, you know, scrap prices or so. Sometimes he gives me stuff too. So he had this metal, and I hemmed and hawed on it. I think I got quite a bit of it. It already had these nice 90-degree bends in it. I do have a JD squared bender, and I could bend it. It was powder coated this red, and I says, I don't see a use for that. I don't know. But then I said, well, I'll be kicking myself if I don't say yes and buy it. I think it was $50 for he had a whole bunch of it. So the first use of it was I had this nice Chicago pneumatic Planishing hammer, and this comes with a cast or forged small throat, and I had a situation where I needed a deeper throat, so I've made these before out of thicker stock, and they get really cumbersome and heavy. So I had to make this little adapter for it in the lathe, and this is the little adapter for the die holder. And the tubing turned out to work perfect. I think it's 1.25 inch OD. It's got enough wall thickness. It's got enough strength, and I've made 2 of them so far. And the head swaps over pretty easy. So I got this one here. This is a real deep one. And this one I didn't trust the tubing to be strong enough here where it was making the backbone U shape here. So I had this, one of my extended learning students had made a car frame here using my JD squared, and I had a 180-degree die. And this must have been a reject or something, so instead of junking it, I picked it up. I said, oh, I got a use for that. And it turned out to work out perfect. So that gives it a lot more strength there, and this actually works really good too. So then I was thinking I better come up with a design for the tool holders. I have quite a few of the different dies. And there's going to be another shelf down here, and this we used some angle iron to make the base, and that's got to be painted yet. Jim, I think, will be in tomorrow and get the other shelf in, and it'll be just about completed, maybe with a little painting. So I drew it up for Jim, and then he started executing, cutting the metal and everything, and somehow it got twisted. I think it was my fault. These hoops here were supposed to go this way, and somehow they went this way instead. There was one here, and I says, well, serendipity, that'll work out perfect. So I had this metal. This is also from Mike. This is like 18 gauge with white powder coating on it, and we had to size it and bend up one of the other legs here. This leg was here, and the bends were on here. It was perfect, other than the length there. So Jim plotted out where all the holes had to be, punched all the holes, bent it up, and now we got it bolted together. And we got that in here. This hoop that was over here, we chopped that off, and that gives you better access. So these will be the most used dies will be up here. And I thought it's a nice little piece, and it's actually on rollers that we found on Craigslist. And these we bought, like, I think it was about 50 of these rollers, and they were kind of rusty. And I believe they came off of shopping carts. And in the Craigslist ad, they were in a wheelbarrow full of water, 50 of these casters, And I saw hope there, especially for 50 bucks. So they're $1 a piece. So if you buy casters, you know that those are about $25 a piece for a high quality caster. I think they're US casters. So Mark lives in Rhode Island, and the ad was in Rhode Island, so he picked them up for me. And we put them in Rust 911, a chelation rust remover, and they come out like brand new. So the thing rolls around really nice, and it'll be a welcome addition to the shop. Jim did a pretty decent job of putting it all together. And I think that some other shops might benefit from having something like this, so I figured I'd show it. Well, thanks for watching. It's Ray Schelin.